Welcome to this special monthly meeting of the IDB, August 26th. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order at 11:01. Confirmation that this meeting was duly advertised, and we have a quorum with six members present today. First order of business is approval of the minutes from our August 5th monthly meeting.
Move to be approved.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Gordon. The meetings have been approved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next, we'll move into recognition of anyone interested in addressing the board today. Do we have anybody interested in addressing the board? Okay. We'll move into our next item, which is a presentation and update on the Class A Power Project. Who is going to present that? Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Mark Heinzer. I'm the administrator for the wastewater department for the city of Chattanooga. And this is more of an update. We did do this presentation probably 6 or 7 months ago for you all, but this project has now reached the stage where we will be coming to your next meeting for a resolution to sign the contract with the design firm. And so I just wanted to refresh everybody's understanding of the project, why we're doing it and how we're doing it and what's going on with it. So we do call this the Class A Power Project. It is basically going to be similarly structured to the E2I2 project, where we will be doing a design build contract for the delivery of this project. So the city, while the city will fund the project, it will be run through the IDB as the contractual agent for it. We did an energy audit at the plant, wastewater treatment plant last year, and we've found a lot of ways that we can streamline what we're doing out there. So this is also an energy project. It's not just a biosolids project, and I'll get into that a little bit detail here, but we're looking at a technology called thermal hydrolysis process, or THP, that will kind of supercharge our processing of biosolids and methane production. The investment at the time was looking at to be around 130 to 150 million. As things do, they have come in a little bit higher than that, and so we'll be looking at how we can do some value engineering along with that and try to get that within our budget. And those are negotiations that haven't happened yet, but we'll be getting into that. We do have the money through the WIFIA loan to cover the project. That loan will cover 49% of the project cost. We also have funds set aside for this project as well to cover the remainder of that. And the deadline to complete this project for the WIFIA loan is 2028. So we do have a timeline that we're working with to get this project going. So currently, we have about 12 to 15 trucks of biosolids per day that come out of our digesters. The biosolids are just a byproduct of wastewater treatment. And it's basically a whole lot of dead bacteria and other stuff that we use as fertilizer. So we process it, we convert it to a Class B fertilizer, which actually has a permit from the agricultural department as a fertilizer. So it's a certified fertilizer in the state of Tennessee. We test it and everything, and we take that to farms around the community. But that's 12 to 15 trucks. It's a big cost. We also get methane off of that because that's what the bacteria produces, but that methane just gets flared away. It is not used for energy at this time. So what we're looking to do is to install this thermal hydrolysis process, which will basically supercharge the digestion of the biosolids. It will reduce our trucks in half, and then it will also produce more methane as a result. And that methane can then be converted either to energy, or we can put it into the grid as a renewable green energy for the community to use. We have a lot of options with that. So we're looking at all those different options as part of this project as well. But the biggest thing here also is that it will get us to a higher class of biosolids, which has a more readily distributable product that can go in a lot of different places that we can't go with the Class B. So that will not only reduce the number of trucks, but reduce the mileage that those trucks have to be used for. So this is a win-win all the way around as an investment in the future here. And then beyond that, we even have more opportunities once we get this underway. We will also have more opportunities to do similar post-processing or additional post-processing to actually make it a marketable product that you could buy at Lowe's or Home Depot or something. Also, we could maybe look at accepting food waste from food manufacturers or restaurants and things like that, which can also be used to create more of that methane. So all in all, this is a look at the future of how we can reduce our energy use, actually generate energy from the process, and move kind of towards the next phase of the wastewater treatment profession here. So again, we're looking at this as a renewable energy product. It will actually help pay for itself over time. It increases the capacity of our plant with regard to the biosolids. Of course, it's a big construction project and will help the local businesses that are participating in that project. And it also can help the city, either whether we want to use our natural gas vehicles for waste collection or things like that. We can also do something with other city departments and support that as well, and supports local agriculture by reducing fertilizer costs. As I said, this is structured very similar to the E2I2 project. So the city will be the owner. We'll do all the legwork for this project and project management. We do look to the city council for resolutions on this, as well as this board for resolutions to make sure this is all being done according to plan. And then the authority on this is, as a design build contract, would be with the Industrial Development Board here. And we would put the funds to this board for distribution. So that's basically the structure. It's very similar to the E2I2 structure. And this is something that, again, we talked about this a few months ago, but I just wanted to refresh your memory because next month we'd like to submit a resolution to sign the contract with the design build firm. The timeline here, as you can see, as I said, it has to finish by December 2028. And so we are right now in the procuring of that design build team and moving into this next phase where we do design pre-construction. And that is it, and I'm happy to answer any questions anyone may have.
I got a question there.
Yep.
Is any of the waste or any of the produced fertilizer got any hazardous waste to it?
Not to our knowledge. So we test it every day for the parameters that the state requires, and we haven't found, and it always passes that, and if it doesn't, we take it to the landfill. So we would never land apply as an agricultural fertilizer or anything that had any kind of hazardous waste or anything in it. Now the state is looking at the PFAS or PFAS, as people like to call it, the chemicals, the forever chemicals. We've started testing for that. We don't have the results yet of that. We did a test of that a year ago, and we didn't have any appreciable volume of that as well. So it doesn't look like we're not really too concerned about having any problem with any of that stuff, but we don't know until we actually get some statistical data on that as well. So we're looking at that.
How many people you think you'll be hiring for this?
Probably 6 to 10, I'd say, over at least it's a ballpark figure. It depends on whether we outsource any of the energy production side of it. So we would have to hire some different skill sets that we don't have today, or we could outsource that. That depends on an ROI, looking at that, what's going to make the most financial sense. But we do need, so this is going to create a little bit additional work anyway. So when I say 6 to 10, it would be like 6 people probably for sure to handle the new equipment. And then maybe 10 if we're going to do the energy management stuff in-house. If we're not going to do that in-house, then we wouldn't hire those other 4 additional folks probably.
But Mark, you're talking, that's after construction, that's after everything.
Yeah, that's after construction. So there's going to be a lot of jobs related to the construction that I can't quantify. But there was, I think, one of the consultant teams had 20,000 hours of work that they were looking at putting into this. So there's a whole team in 3 years. They're going to put in 20,000 hours of work. So it's a lot of work. So.
You don't give veterans preference?
I'm sorry?
Do you give veterans preference in hiring?
I don't know. That would be a question for the procurement department, or purchasing. I'm not sure what the requirements are, and the loan has some stipulations in there. I don't know the answer to that specifically, but I'd have to rely on the purchasing department to kind of know maybe that a little bit better. I apologize, I don't have that answer.
Okay, thank you.
If I may. The deadline for completion, the end of December 28. I know it's a long way away, but it's not.
It's not, yeah.
Are there financial ramifications if you don't meet this with the funding?
Yeah, so when we secured the loan back in November of '22, we questioned that as well, and it seems like they're pretty amenable to extensions if you've made excellent progress. Not that we want to rely on that. The teams that we've selected have said we've committed them to the time frame, and they've all committed to the time frame. And I don't think there would be any ramifications for that, but if there was, we'd find a way to make it work. We'd probably reallocate capital dollars, to do that, so.
Okay, thank you.
Mark, briefly on here, the reason you're coming to this board in that regard is the Industrial Development Board is a development authority under state law, and that is the reason that based upon TCA 12-10-124, this body can be able to do a design build project. Is that correct?
Correct.
And because of that, that's why this property during the construction process will also be leased to the IDB. They will have the project under their control during that time, just to make sure that works. And then the contracts for this development will be with the IDB as well, will they not?
That is correct. This entire project is within the confines of the wastewater treatment plant property, so there'd be a portion that would be assigned a lease, not the whole plant, but there'd be a portion that's be assigned a lease to this board throughout the duration of the construction.
Yes. And going back to the construction aspect, I was looking on here, your funding is December 31st, 2028. And according to your timeline, the construction gets completed in November of 2028. So that's another reason for the time sensitivity of this matter, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions? Oh, go ahead.
Real quick, as far as the new technology and everything you all are looking at implementing and stuff, I'll show my ignorance here. How common is, I mean, this seems pretty,
Yeah.
innovative and
It is. It's been used for 20 years in Europe. So when it's not necessarily like that cutting edge, but
Right.
there's only a handful of installations in the U.S. There's probably half a dozen. I've seen some of them firsthand. There's one in Washington D.C. There's one in Virginia Beach. Franklin, Tennessee now has theirs. And there's some out in the West, and there's some in the Midwest as well. So it's more and more common now. And basically what it is a big pressure cooker. It's high temp, high pressure, and the materials are put through that, and it's broken down much easier for our existing digesters to consume and to generate that methane from. So when we say it's like high tech, it's really just heat and pressure. There's nothing really too fancy about it, but it is not something that's been used here until recently in the United States. In Europe, the 20 or plus that have been in place over there are still all operating. 20 years ago, 20 years ago, not 20 installations. I'm not sure how many installations are there, but they've been using it for 20 years, and they're all still operating. So that's a good sign that they're useful technology. And like I said, it's been making its way across the U.S. in the last 10 years.
so there's one in Franklin that's complete.
Yeah,
How long has it been done?
about a year maybe.
So this isn't new to the state of Tennessee either. Y'all aren't gonna.
We're not the first. We're not the first in Tennessee. No.
Good, thanks.
Any more questions? Okay, I think, Mark, you have the next item, but I'll just read it for the record. So the next item is a resolution authorizing the chair or vice chair to execute change order number 2 to the Progressive Design Build contract for the E2I2 sanitary sewer overflow abatement program on South Lee Highway and West Chickamauga utilization stations. Contract number W2001-201 with Brassfield and Gorey LLC to execute Phase 2 of the project and approving Exhibit F form of contract price amendment. The form attached in the amount of $147,719,000 $1,244 for the total amount of $153,087,868. I'll let you address that for us. Thank you.
Yeah, so this is the phase 2 of that particular project. The 147 million is the guaranteed maximum price, so we've gone through the 60% design phase. We have approved all those plans from a performance perspective, and we're ready to sign the contract to get the project built. This is a project that is called out in our consent decree, so it is something that we have to do to appease the federal government as well as the state with regard to our wastewater services to the community. So we've looked at all this, and we do have the funds to do this, and we'd like to have your approval to sign that contract.
Okay. Any questions about this resolution from anybody? If not, I will hear a motion.
Motion.
Thank you. Second. Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion passes. Resolution passes. Our next resolution is for the South Broad District Area Plan. And this resolution is a resolution of the Board of Directors of the Industrial Development Board of the City of Chattanooga authorizing the execution of an interlocal cooperative agreement with the Sports Authority of the County of Hamilton in the City of Chattanooga, Tennessee. That'll be the first one.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Jermaine Freeman, Chief of Staff to the Mayor. So today you have two resolutions that are coming before you related to the South Broad project. Both of these resolutions are sort of process items that we need to make sure that we do in the form of executing the amendment to the economic impact plans that have already been adopted by the City Council and the County Commission. And so the first resolution that's coming before you is basically a resolution that memorializes in the form of an interlocal agreement the transfer of funds from this body, the Industrial Development Board, to the Sports Authority of the City of Chattanooga and Hamilton County to help pay debt service on the bonds. The second resolution that will come before you is the approval of the subordinate tax increment financing loans that are a part of the financing structure and capital stack that again was approved by the City Council and the County Commission and their amendments to the economic impact plans. And so I will ask Mark Mamentov, our external counsel, to come up to give you any other key details about that. But overall, this is what those are the two resolutions.
Hello yet again, I'm Mark Mamentov with Bass, Bray & Sims. The first resolution relates to the interlocal agreement, as Jermaine said. As y'all hopefully recall, I subjected you to a presentation last time about these, so I'm not going to subject you to a lot of detail again unless you would like to. But the first one, as Jermaine said, relates to the allocation of the tax increment revenues to the Sports Authority to pay debt service on the senior bonds of $85 million. So the county's tax increment revenues will flow to the county IDB, then to you, and then on to the Sports Authority to pay that debt. Once those revenues are adequate to pay that debt, then it'll flow back down to you all, any excess to pay the tax increment notes, which are the next item on your agenda. So this agreement is one of the steps that we need to provide for the flow of funds for them to be in the right place to help pay for the debt for the stadium. Do you want me to do both at once, or would you?
Do we want to do them separate? Or?
Yeah, let's do them separately, it wouldn't hurt. Mark, just trying to make sure I understand here specifically on this resolution, this body is supposed to be receiving tax increment revenues here on the TIF that is outstanding. And those TIF revenues will be then given to the debt service on the Sports Authority, and it will be returned in tax increment revenues to the county if necessary. And then to the extent that the tax increment revenues exceed the amounts after a certain period of time to pay the debt service, then it will come back to the city at that point in time. Is that correct?
Yes, and you made a very important point. The county's debt service, tax increment revenues are only being used to pay the $80 million senior bonds. The city is being used for the $5 million subordinate bond that the Sports Authority is issuing, and then the remaining amount of city increment would be available to pay the tax increment notes. Based on the projections that we have from Younger, who did estimate based on the property tax revenues in the South Broad District, and based on various calculations that our financial advisors and underwriters have made, it'll probably be somewhere between 3 to 6 years before the revenues would start flowing back to this body to pay the tax increment notes.
Okay, sir.
And that's assuming, obviously, that the development takes off. And it's already taking off in the South Broad District, but in particular, the development around the stadium.
And so this board's obligation is a $5 million amount, correct?
Now, the $5 million is the Sports Authority's second level of bond. This
Right.
board will have a $10 million, and I can skip ahead, but they'll have a $10 million note to the team, to the site owner, Pipe Properties, which is going to pay for site prep. In other words, they're going to give us a pad ready. It's not technically the term that I probably should use because they're going to do some utility work too, but a pad-ready site that we can build the stadium on for $10 million. So they've done a lot of work already, but this will be, they've got to bring it down for various environmental reasons and stuff. It's quite expensive, so they're going to do that work and essentially take the risk that the area around the stadium will grow, that they'll get paid back. The team is putting $19 million into the stadium. $3 million is cash, equity, they never get paid back. 16 million of it will be the same thing. They are betting that this stadium will enliven the entire district and then they'll be able to get back. If this doesn't work, they basically will lose $26 million. If it does work, everybody's going to be very happy. There's a significant penalty to them if this area doesn't grow.
Thank you.
Any other questions about this first resolution? So again, with this first one, we are authorizing the execution of an interlocal cooperative agreement, transfer the tax increment revenues to and from the Sports Authority. So I will entertain a motion for that first one.
I'll make a motion to accept.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the first resolution passes. The second resolution is for the Board of Directors of the Industrial Development Board of the City of Chattanooga to authorize the execution of tax increment financing documents related to the South Broad District Plan area. Are there any other questions on that one? Not, we'll entertain a motion for that one.
Make a motion to approve that resolution.
Second.
Thank you. Approved in second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you. Both resolutions pass. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is growing small business incentive grants. We have two that we'll hear today. The first one is a resolution authorizing the award of a growing small business incentive grant to Big Sky Landscapes LLC in the amount of $10,000.
Good morning, Sarah Matson, Director of Entrepreneurship with the City of Chattanooga. And yes, today we're presenting two businesses that we're recommending for the Growing Small Business Incentive, which you may remember is an incentive and reward for businesses that are adding 5 or more jobs in the previous 18 months for a maximum of $10,000. So our first presenter is Luke Bowling with Big Sky Landscapes.
Hi, my name is Luke Bowling. I'm the owner of Big Sky Landscapes here in Chattanooga. I've got a couple slides to go over with you guys that just gives a brief snippet of how we got started, who we are, and what we do. So we do, before I get into what we do, how we got started. So I'm from Chattanooga, and in 2018, after I graduated from the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga, I was working 2 or 3 different jobs in mostly the fitness and health industry here in Chattanooga, as a personal trainer full-time, as a sports coach at one of the high schools here, and then doing some various construction work to make ends meet and provide for my family. And as I was doing jobs on the side, I started to realize that there was really a big demand for landscaping work, and I almost got a little frustrated because I started to feel like the standard was so low. Like, if you called people back or did what you said you were going to do, people were really impressed. And so it quickly made me think and feel like there was a real opportunity because the standard was so low, and I wanted to help kind of redefine the standard for people who were enlisting a landscape company for their services, and help say, hey, this standard and the level of expectation really does need to be redefined. So I started taking on more odd-end landscape projects, and then in 2019, I decided to quit my jobs that I was doing part-time and full-time and kind of put all my eggs into this basket. And so the first summer when I was coaching, I had 2 students that I was coaching that were taking the summers to work with me just part-time to earn some extra money. And so that first summer, 2018, that's what I did. And then, before I fast forward to today, the 2 things that I kind of started to hone in on as we were growing was commercial maintenance contracts and then landscape installations. So we basically do annual maintenance contracts for a lot of small businesses or commercial building spaces or HOAs that are in and around the Chattanooga area, and we maintain all of their grounds. So that's kind of one half of what Big Sky Landscapes does, and then the other half of what we do is installing landscapes. And we do a lot of landscape installations for developers and large commercial construction companies, as well as residentially. And and we install everything from outdoor lighting to irrigation systems, hardscapes, retaining walls, etc. Pretty much anything that has anything to do with the outdoors. So that's pretty much what we do in a nutshell. Here's a photo of a recent project that we installed all of the landscape along Hickson Pike in Chattanooga, and just kind of an aerial view of that. Who we are. So from 2019, I started with 2 part-time people that were working with me, and fast forward a little over 4 years later, we've got right at 30 full-time people on our team. And we're a diverse group of people who shares a couple things in common. One thing that we all share in common is we like to be outside and we like to work hard. And everyone that's on our team has a strong work ethic and just a dedication to caring about the aesthetics of our city. A lot of the projects that we do are new construction or development projects where the first thing that anybody who's going into or interacting with a new development sees is the landscape. So our team really takes pride in the work that we do and creating spaces that have a aesthetic appeal and that are good for our city and environment. There's another picture of a apartment complex that we've installed a landscape for and irrigation. So just a quick snippet on how we've grown. I told you guys, in a little over 4 years, we've grown just over 1,000%. A couple things that I was looking forward to sharing with y'all that we just found out about the last week. One is there's a magazine in our country that's a business magazine called Inc., and every year they do a list of the 5,000 fastest growing companies in the country. I just had a friend that was in the tech industry. I was not familiar with the Inc. process at all, but he was encouraging me to apply, so I did. And we found out about 2 weeks ago that not only do we make the list, but we made number 416 for the country, and that was number 8 for the 8th fastest growing company in Tennessee, and the number 1 fastest growing company in Chattanooga. So that was exciting for our whole team, and was exciting too, given the timing of this presentation to share with you guys. So we've grown a lot over the last couple of years, and we've grown really fast. And I think a lot of our growth has had to do with the fact that we've got a team of people who really care about their work and love doing landscaping in the Chattanooga area. So that's a little bit about us. Thanks for the opportunity to share with y'all about what we do.
Any questions from the board?
How many full-time employees did you say you had?
30.
Full-time?
Yes, 30 full-time and 1 part-time. So 31 total, but only 1's part-time.
Nice.
Any other questions? All right, we'll entertain a motion.
Thank you.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Great, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great, congratulations, thank
Thank you very much.
Our next resolution is authorizing an award of a small business, a growing small business incentive grant to Beautiful Game Incorporated, DBA Chattanooga Football Club, in the amount of $10,000.
Good morning. I'd just like to introduce CEO of Beautiful Game, Alton Bird, to present.
Good morning to all of you. As mentioned, I represent Chattanooga Football Club, Beautiful Gaming, the ownership piece of our organization. Listen, this is plain. A little bit about us. I'll kind of tell the story of where we were, where we are now, and where we hope to be going. Story of CFC, 16 years old now. Mission is really to use soccer to build strong relationships across age, race, creed, and socioeconomic status for the greater good of the city of Chattanooga. You probably know in 2009, a core group of influential locals, athletes, business owners started this club. Today, we are playing in MLS Next Pro, which is the men's professional soccer league here in the U.S. and Canada that is affiliated and connected to Major League Soccer. Chattanooga FC, the front office and soccer operations teams now provide over 40 full and part-time jobs across all management departments. Our women's team competes in the WPSL, the Women's Premier Soccer League, which is a top amateur women's league that plays in the summer. Our youth academy provides coaching and training for over 700 Chattanooga kids and over 40 full and part-time jobs for coaches and administration. Where we are today, as I mentioned, joined the new league last November, MLS Next Pro. 12 MLS Next Pro teams from across major cities in the U.S. and Canada are now traveling to Chattanooga. That includes Chicago, New York, Boston, Toronto, Miami, Orlando, Charlotte. I can't think of the rest of them, but that's the majority of the ones we play in the Eastern Conference. We increased our full-time staff. When I started in June of 2023, we had 9 full-time staff. We now have 39 full-time staff. We've created new jobs. We've attracted talent to support the growth of the team within the city. 26 new full-time jobs have been created in addition to the existing jobs. We've hired 2 veterans in our youth academy, one from the Army and one from the Marine Corps. We've created a dedicated community relations department with the goal to execute 150 community events in 2024. We are on track to meet that. We will probably go above that. We moved offices to 436 Market Street above the Johnson Publishing Building. We took over the entire floor there. We were a finalist for the Chamber of Commerce's Chattanooga Small Business Awards this year. We have jointly been working with the Business Network International BNI. We've organized 3 quarterly networking events with focus on supporting Chattanooga small businesses. We have announced acceptance in the MLS Next, which is the elite youth soccer program. That will drive elite youth soccer development here in the city, and it will continue the recognition of Chattanooga as an elite soccer destination. And as you probably heard, we've celebrated the groundbreaking on the new building at 1620 Riverfront Parkway to open in 2026. That will drive, again, more jobs, drive significant new business and new opportunities to the downtown area. So where do we want to go? This small business grant will support further growth, more job opportunities and creation through the following. We are planning a launch of 191 River Street, which is a retail place in the North Shore, centrally located, and it will be soccer-focused retail store that will bring new business, as I said, to North Shore. Youth Academy support through coach education and development. We are also considering working with the city on creating a futsal indoor program for across-the-board city engagement for more youth and families. We plan on increasing investment directly support our community relations, leading to even more community engagement. We will further develop our women's team with the goal of increasing footprint of women's sports here at Chattanooga Youth Families. And all of this activity, we hope and believe, will create 20 additional new jobs, full and part-time, across these growing ventures. We are also, which isn't on this platform, looking at creating an esports initiative because FIFA is the largest or the most popular video game in the world, sports video game in the world, and we're considering creating an esports initiative within esports teams for Chattanooga. Other than that, we've been doing nothing.
Thank you very much. Any questions? We will entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the award.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Great. Resolution passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Is there any other business or items to discuss for the board today? All right, hearing none, we are adjourned. Thank you.